Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers across the globe reach out to those in greater need. We learn more about the 19th solar term of the year, Lidong, which is a good time for people to drink herbal tonic. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. One of Tzu Chi's 4 fundamental missions is charity, with the motto of educating the rich to help the poor, while inspiring the poor to realize their riches. Keeping these values close to their heart, recently Tzu Chi volunteers in Vietnam visited their care recipients in Ho Chi Minh City and offered them financial aid. Meanwhile, in Jordan, Tzu Chi volunteers also conducted home visitations, but inside a Catholic church, where refugees from Iraq are temporarily residing.
The radical Islamic State's invasion of Iraq has forced many residents to flee to nearby countries to escape persecution. Today, Jordan's Tzu Chi volunteers are bringing their care to Naur, a Catholic church in the capital of Amman, which has taken in 12 families of either Catholic or Christian beliefs. These families reside in a space of no bigger than 10 square meters.
I hope this keeps you warm in the winter time. Okay.
Now with nothing to their name, this group of Iraqi refugees used to be factory owners, government workers, or even teachers.
We are regretful that you are in this situation, but remember, we will always be by your side.
Handing out financial assistance and aid supplies, Tzu Chi volunteers bow in respect, making sure each recipient knows it's a present and not charity.
90度.
This baby booty comes from Taiwan. It's handmade by our diamond masters at the Jingsi abode. It took them over 10 hours to complete this.
For the children, escaping persecution is just like a long trip away from home. However, when night falls in Jordan, temperatures drop to as low as 5 degrees Celsius, and these loving gifts will surely warm their hearts on this indefinite journey. Meanwhile, in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, Tzu Chi volunteers are heading out to visit care recipients. Tzu Chi care recipient Xiao Mei, with a tumor on her neck, looks younger than her 46 years due to suffering from birth defects relating to toxic foliants. 92-year-old Pan Shiji sells lottery tickets to get by, but Tzu Chi's financial assistance is her main source of economic stability. 51 Tzu Chi care recipients, each with their own moving story, all inspiring the volunteers' compassion.
Today, we went to distribute financial aid to the poor and the solitary seniors. Seeing the smiles on their faces and being able to help them, my heart is filled with joy, as this cause is very meaningful.
When I first signed on to participate in this Tzu Chi activity, I didn't feel like there was that many poor people that needed help. But after seeing so many cases today, I feel no matter how little we are doing to help, as long as we have the right mindset, that's enough.
In any affluent city, there are always impoverished corners where love is needed, and Tzu Chi volunteers are doing their part to light up those forgotten corners with their love and care.
Recently in the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers traveled to Bulacan province to visit care recipients. Besides catching up with each family, volunteers also brought a surprise for one particular family in need.
Tzu Chi care recipient Bonnie Caste lost his left leg in an accident. Without a means to provide for his family, Caste's relatives all worried about how he, his wife, and their 6 children will be able to get by. Thankfully, Tzu Chi showed up at his door, and this time they brought a surprise gift.
This is a big help for us. Tzu Chi has given us a lot of support, like food and financial aid for my children, because I can't work. I thank them for all their help.
Thank you.
Philippine Tzu Chi volunteers recently visited some of their care recipients in Bulacan province, 16 kilometers north of Manila. Among the recipients is Rosemary Nape, whose daughter suffers from cerebral palsy. Despite the burden of the illness, Nape has remained strong with Tzu Chi's assistance.
Since meeting Tzu Chi, they have given us a lot of assistance. They have lifted our spirits because someone is finally helping us, especially by providing milk for my daughter. In this way, our burden is lessened.
Another who is not giving up on life is care recipient Freddie Lin Otoyan.
We are very grateful to the Tzu Chi Foundation because without their assistance, I don't know what would happen to me and my daughter.
This family knows that the way to repay Tzu Chi's love is to pay it forward by doing something good for the planet.
I very gladly participate in recycling collection and save some coins for Tzu Chi. This is my way to pay Tzu Chi back and at the same time a way to help others.
A caring word makes society warm once again, while a loving heart lights up the world.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, many disaster-stricken areas were left without access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. To help, humanitarian groups such as UNICEF reached out with a helping hand. Besides providing water purification systems, the organization even installed washrooms for impoverished residents in and around Tacloban City. Next, let's take a look at the changes in residents' lives a year after the disaster. Following Typhoon Haiyan, disaster survivors were evacuated to 14 different temporary shelters where they had to share a water station. As it was very inconvenient, many decided to drink untreated water, which caused a widespread outbreak of diarrhea. It's only after encountering such a calamity that many realized the importance of water. Although a year has passed since the disaster, residents in Guti village, Tacloban, are still living without running water. To solve the problem, villagers decided to drill wells. However,
Many residents contracted diarrhea and nematodes because they drank untreated water.
currently 600 residents in Guti village share a well that has safe drinking water. The other wells, which contains high levels of impurities, are used to irrigate crops and for washing. This is 22-year-old Katrine, who has been very happy since her family installed a toilet. Katrine says she has been hoping to have her own toilet since young.
We finally don't have to borrow our neighbors' washrooms after the UNICEF installed a toilet for us. It's much more convenient.
As villagers here can barely make ends meet, many were unable to afford a toilet.
Defecating in the open in this barangay. So those are people who used to go in the bushes because they didn't have access to a toilet, and that actually has very, negative effects on health as well as on dignity because people feel unsafe.
There are 133 households in this village, and with UNICEF's assistance, 109 households now have their own washrooms. Now, about 80% of the locals have access to toilets.
Building washrooms for disaster survivors is the first step in preventing possible outbreaks of disease. This is a toilet factory in Tacloban City sponsored by UNICEF, where tens of thousands of toilets are made by local residents.
These transitional sites, people live for about 2 or 3 months, and at the same time they're helping to build their permanent homes. And so in one of these transitional sites, we have these toilets.
With the help of UNICEF, more than 310,000 disaster survivors receive free toilets, while more than 1.3 million residents now have access to safe drinking water.
Water was contaminated. We had to also provide the tablets to purify the water.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, only 2 hospitals in Tacloban City were still running. How to overcome the problem of limited access to clean water became a top priority for hospitals. Thanks to UNICEF, which donated this water purification system, Tacloban City Hospital was able to stay open. Through this pipe, salt water from the ocean is pumped into the machine, which filters away salt and impurities, leaving it safe to drink.
The hospital, there are a lot of people coming in, there are a lot of patients, so we really need water to keep the hospital running.
To prevent contamination and pollution of the environment, hospital wastewater will go through a water purification system before being released back to the ocean. With the help of humanitarian groups such as the UNICEF, there has been no major disease outbreak in the high-stricken areas. Furthermore, as the rebuilding process continues, UNICEF continues to pass out important health tips to locals. November 7 means the 19th solar term of this year, Lidong, is here. This means farmers can finally enjoy the fruits of their year-long labor and take a good break, which usually start with eating nutritiously and drinking herbal tonic on this day to fortify their body against the winter cold.
Taiwan, around the 19th solar term, Lidong, the rice of the second crop will be golden yellow and ready to be harvested. As harvesters work the fields, farmers look forward to taking a break.
An old saying goes, when winter comes, the fields will be empty. Whether it's a paddy or a farm, nothing will be grown.
Traditionally, people eat something more nutritious on this day, such as herbal soups to prepare their body for the cold winter months.
You have got to eat something more nourishing on Lidong so your body won't feel as cold.
Because we used to be an agricultural society, people like to eat something more therapeutic on the first day of winter to condition their body. That's why there's a saying, to prepare for winter, mend your mouth.
Chinese medicine doctors recommend eating food that is good for the spleen, stomach, and kidneys, such as this herbal Tzu Chi soup, which contains various Chinese herbs and is mild enough for just about everyone.
Our kidneys are closely related to our bones. By strengthening the kidneys, we can minimize joint pains and also back pains and cold hands and feet caused by weak kidneys.
Lidong is the first solar term of the winter season. As the sun moves closer to the southern hemisphere, the temperature drops and daylight shortens to the north. On this hill, the oranges have all turned reddish, and fruit farmers hurry to get their crops to the market. As people on the streets change into long sleeves, the weather is turning from hot and muggy to dry and breezy. Yet, for people of Taiwan, the signs of winter may not be that evident.
这种天气像要立冬了吗？
好像没有哈，好像很热，很热，很热。
The chief of the Taichung weather station says, as Taiwan is subtropical in climate, winter typically arrives later. It is not unusual for the temperatures in middle and southern Taiwan to be over 30 degrees Celsius at this time, and hence the nickname Spring in October.
Today, because a front is passing by, the temperature will be lower tomorrow. But for the day after and after that, because the cold air has grown weaker, it will feel hot again.
However, residents should not be fooled by the blazing sun, as the temperature can drop sharply by as much as 10 degrees once the sun sets.
The temperature difference between night and day will be very noticeable. Also, northeast seasonal winds and cold fronts moving southward will become more frequent. So we need to pay attention to temperature drops to the north.
Though in Taiwan, Lidong feels more like autumn than the start of winter, but it never hurts to carry a jacket with you just in case it suddenly feels chilly. Also, we should enjoy the sun while we still have a chance.
1,600 years ago, the Xianbei nomadic group conquered northern China, creating what was later called the Northern Wei dynasty. For the next 200 years, Buddhism flourished in the region with the unprecedented buildings of religious iconography undertaken near the city of Datong. Once complete, 252 grottos have been adorned with 51,000 Buddhas cut directly into the mountainsides. Here's more.
The facial features and hairstyles of these Buddhas mark their creators to be non-Han people. However, the process of sinification was already present, as evidenced by the Chinese castics the Buddhas are wearing. 452 grottos that stretched out over 1 kilometer, 51,000 Buddhas were carved into a variety of positions, sizes, and looks. The tallest is 17 meters, and the smallest only a few centimeters high.
We know that they were cut from top to bottom. There are advantages to doing it that way, as when carving from top to bottom, there is no need for scaffolding. If you carve from bottom to top, you have to chisel a lot of holes for the placement of scaffolding, which takes time and also isn't that safe.
The Xianbei were originally a nomadic group. So why did they cross the Great Wall only to embrace Buddhism with the feverish construction of temples and the Yungang grottos?
The ancestors of the Xianbei tribe would build their temples right in the mountainside. So for Xianbei regime, carving figures into a hillside was something they had been doing for centuries. Thus, the combination of this practice with the embracing of the Buddhist faith resulted in these very unique grottos.
However, in the early years of the Northern Wei, under the Emperor Taiwu, Buddhism was in fact outlawed. Its monks persecuted or killed and its scriptures destroyed. This was to be China's first large-scale program of Buddhism.
Under Taiwu, northern China was united under the Northern Wei banner. However, he saw that Buddhism was closely connected to power at the local level, and he became worried that in Buddhism, the seeds of subversion and ultimately rebellion could be planted. At the time, there was also the competing religious schools of Taoism, so he converted to Taoism and rejected Buddhism.
In 452, Emperor Wencheng decided to rectify the mistakes of his grandfather, Emperor Taiwu, and under his rule, Buddhism flourished once more, and the Yungang grottos were constructed. However, where did all the stones go that was carved out to create the grottos and statues?
The stone was not discarded, but all of it was carted over to the capital, where it was used for construction there. At the Datong, Pingcheng, and Mingtang archaeological sites, we have found that all the stone used came from the grottos. The work of the Yungang grottos was later copied several times over the centuries. Currently, such rock carvings can be found in 8 locations throughout China. Although their styles may be different, each serves as a testament to the flow of ideas between ancient China and other cultures.
In Malaysia, Tzu Chi recipient Zheng Lidong from Malacca suffers from multiple cancers and had thought about ending her life. Hoping to offer her some support, in 2006, Tzu Chi volunteers installed the DaAi TV channel in Zheng's home. Watching DaAi TV, in addition to the support of the volunteers, has helped Zheng find new meaning in her life. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi volunteers at Penang and Johor Bahru also carried out their monthly charity outreach.
It's once again the 4th Sunday of the month, and Tzu Chi volunteers clear out their schedule to attend the monthly charity outreach. Tzu Chings are also joining the Tzu Chi volunteers as they check in with old friends.
After he was met the accident, he cannot drive the motorbike. So my children never go to school for 2 weeks. Then I let the Tzu Chi people know about this. They all really helped me to find the transportation for my children to go to school.
We increased our monetary support since she has 2 kids still in school and needed additional money for their bus fare. She was really grateful for the assistance we provided.
Since August, Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia have moved all home visitations to the 4th Sunday of the month. Not only does this increase manpower efficiency, but on conclusion of the home visits, volunteers share their insights with one another and together come up with solutions to the problems they encountered.
Our care recipients' children are at school during the week, so if we conducted our home visitations in the mornings, we wouldn't be able to see the children. How can we solve this problem?
Perhaps we can visit them on other days when it is convenient for them.
们跟我讲是神秘礼物，然后害我紧张又高兴，又要快知道。
Full of excitement, Tzu Chi recipient DaAi Headlines finally gets to meet her role model face-to-face via video conferencing.
哎，小燕师姐你好，很开心哦。开心啊！啊，开心哎！看到你我很开心哎。你给我很大鼓励耶。
我常常讲啊，我们身体有病，心里不能有病。你心里有病，我们就亏大了。知道吗？知道。我们要勇敢啊！用我们的意志力来对抗病魔。
对，现在我学到你的功夫了。
A woman with a hearty laugh, it's hard to tell that DaAi Headlines has long suffered from poor health and has tried to take her own life on many occasions. It wasn't until volunteers installed the DaAi TV channel in her home that she was able to leave her pit of despair.
If people who are worse off than me can still manage to overcome their struggles, why can't I? Whenever I feel bad, I will watch DaAi TV to find answers.
我觉得是大爱台改变了你的命运哦。
大爱台改变我命运，商人也改变了我。感恩你，师姐，真的没有你，没有今天的我。因为那时我真的是，我每天都想要去自杀的。我跟你讲，真的。
我知道那一段时间，那你也给我们看到我生命的价值。
我要验收了。
Death is certain for those who are born, and birth is certain for the dead. This is a journey we all have to go through. In every undesirable circumstance, there is always a way to look on the brighter side. DaAi Headlines proves that one can still be content and help others, even in spite of one's own suffering.
In our next report, we go to Kaohsiung, Taiwan to meet Zheng Hongyan and see how being a DaAi mother has helped her discover a new meaning of life.
Carefully trimming the paper into the shape of a heart, here at the Kaohsiung DaAi Mothers Seminar, DaAi mothers learn how to make creative arts and crafts that will make learning activities more fun in the classroom.
When he was little, I'd bring him here. He would behave really well and wouldn't cause a disturbance.
Zheng Hongyan, a foreign spouse from China, has been living in Taiwan for more than 10 years. Often feeling homesick and longing for her family, it wasn't until Zheng met Tzu Chi that she found her pillar of strength and support.
I feel really happy to be around kids. They bring me so much joy. It isn't me that is making a difference in their lives, but rather, they're the ones who are making a difference in mine. It's a great feeling.
While working with children, Zheng discovered that the one to benefit most was in fact herself.
My biggest transformation is that when I am about to lose my temper with my son, I will tell myself not to get angry and that I have to be compassionate. I also have to treat other children as my own.
Accompanying these children with love through the most crucial years of their life, these DaAi mothers have also found that their lives have also been enriched as a result.
We go back to the Philippines at the end of the show as many residents celebrate the Day of the Dead by visiting their lost loved ones at the graveyard. Tzu Chi volunteers seize the chance to encourage those on site to sort their recyclables. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.